another section of classical calculator. And so we'll be looking at things which can be used to represent distribution on a map. And today the ones we'll be looking at are proportional circles and dot maps. They are both very related, but then there are differences. With the proportional circles, it uses circles of graduating sizes. Okay, so these are proportional circles. They are graduating sizes, which shows the magnitude. That the larger the circle, the higher the event or the thing being talked about. So it shows magnitude. Where the dot maps, they are just single dot, represents 1 unit. So if the thing is on a larger scale, they will use more dots to represent that thing. Assuming this is a given question or a given data, and I've been asked to represent them using dot maps. So as we present using dots on this map, what we do is that we'll pick a scale that is 1 dot. Will represent about, let's say, 100 people. Okay? So if 1 dot represents 100 people, that means that town A will have what? How many dots? 7 dots. Because you divide the 700 by 100 and you get what? 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You distribute them across the map. And likewise the same with them. But with proportional circles, the highest is town C. So based on our scale factor, we'll work it and then look at it. Based on our scale factor, we will have something like this. And then let's start A with the next one is A. So to have a slightly bigger circle, B is 600, a little bit. E is 400. So and then F is, and then D, which is the smaller, will have something like this. So that's the difference between proportional circles and then dot maps. Now let's take an in-depth look at each one of them. Let's take a question from 2004 Notebook. And in both proportional circles and then dot maps, which you are given, they will provide you the map on which you are supposed to draw the proportional circles. So don't bother about drawing anything. So learn how to draw maps. Very important. So we've been given this data, and then we are supposed to start with proportional circles. We are supposed to draw or transfer this data onto the map which have been given. The first thing I have to find the square roots of each data given or each number of population. The population is in the thousands. So this is 1,500, 1,300, 800, 900, and 700,000. So first finding the square root, you have to find the square root. So you need your calculator to do that. To input a square root, to find the square root on your calculator, you press this key. It's giving us a square root sign, and then you type in what you're supposed to type 1,500, and then you press equals to. When it gives you something like this, all you need to do is to press this key to change it to decimal. Okay, and then you write your answer. It is best to leave your answer in 2 decimal places or 3 decimal places. It was 7.729. So rounding it to do 2 decimal places, because the 9 is more than 4, we add 1 to the 2, making it 3. That is how can we got 38.73. So the next ones, so these are our values. We are left with the picking of the scale. You base it on how big or how small you want your circles to be. So if you want a bigger circle, you pick a smaller scale. If you want a smaller circle, you pick a greater scale. So the scale base, depending on, you can choose any scale. So we can say that 1 centimeter. Okay, 1 centimeter on our ruler. That is each centimeter will be equals to, let's say, 25 units. So that means that if you are drawing for a circle to have a radius that is from here to here of 1 centimeter, it should be up to what? 25 units. The next step is that we are going to divide by a scale, that's 25 units. So when you get something like this, see it's in fraction. You just press here and then it changes it to decimal for you. Now that we are done with finding our radius, so that means that for Ashanti region, the radius of the circle was 1.5. For Eastern region, the radius will be 1.4, 1.1, 1.2, and then 1.1. Okay, so these two have the same because we run it to the nearest 1 decimal place. Have we written everything, which would have not been very necessary? We might have gotten something different because this was 1.14 and this was 1.05. So run to the nearest decimal place, we have 1.1, 1.1. So now, after you are done with this, which everything should be shown, should be worked in the book. After you are done with this, you go to the map which has been provided to you. So you move to the map. Based on the scales, we are going to what? We will be needing our compass to give us the scale. So the first one, the A that we are going to do is for Western. And then Western's radius was what? 1.1 centimeters. You look for the centimeter column of the ruler and then you open your map, your compass to 1.1. So placed here and then here, giving us what? 1.1. So that 1.1, you place your compass in the middle, approximately the middle, and then you draw your circle. Then you move to the next one, which was central, 1.2. The same step, place it on 0. Then you open to the 1.2 mark. As you can see here, 1.2. And then B is central, so that you try to find the middle. The next is central, Greater Accra, which was also 1.1. So even if had we known, we would have done both the Western and then the Greater Accra at the same time because they all carry the same radius. Here, don't worry if it overlaps or goes into another country's or another region's boundary. Just make sure that you are drawing it in the middle. You are trying to find a central point and then you draw your circle. Which is 1.4. So we open to 1.4. And then the last one is 1.5. So after you are done drawing your circles, that is it, and then you are done with proportional circles. But then there might be other questions, including state two advantages or state disadvantages, or even give other methods of what drawing proportional circles. We're going to learn on that one. Thank you. Now that you are done with proportional circles, let's look at dot maps. Dot maps are much simpler than proportional circles. Let's see how. So with dot maps, when you are giving your data it can be in list form. You have to tabulate everything, but then after you get your table like this, okay, Okay. The next thing is that you choose your scale. Where the scale is that each dot that you draw on the map, how many units will it represent? So that one based on you can choose your own scale. So here we're using, let's look at the highest is 360,000. So we can say each dot can represent about 10,000 units. Okay, so one single dot represents about 10,000 units. So based on that, you have to find out how many dots we draw for each one of them. So starting with A is what 80,000 divided by the scale, which gives us 8. That means that for A we draw how many dots? 8 dots. Then you go straight to your map, as I said in the beginning, with proportional circles, with dot maps, any of those line graphs and all of that, they will give you the maps on which you're supposed to show the information on. You are supposed to show this data on. But that doesn't mean that you should not learn how to draw. Learn how to draw your maps, especially your Ghana and the African maps. On our map, what we do is that we locate the various zones which were given, and we've located zone A, B, C, and D. Please, this is not the actual map, it's just a drawing. So zone A, we had 8. That is 8, we will draw 8 dots there. So here you distribute it around. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it. And then you are done with zone A. Zone B, which was central, had 36. So 1, 36. Then you are done with zone B. Zone C, Greater Accra, had 14. And 1, 14. Okay. And zone D, which is Eastern, had just 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You distribute it across. So after you are done, that is it for the map. There can be other questions, especially if the given data was on population. They can ask you which of the zones or which of the regions has the highest population. Well, now we will know the one with the highest population will be the one with the highest number of dots. They can also ask you which one has the highest population density. Please remember, the population density is that per given area, the number of people there. So looking at it, we can say even though B had 36 dots, but it's not as densely populated as C, because looking at the area, but there are women at Dorso. In terms of much B, it must say a point them kakra, but then C, they are closely together because the space is too small for the number of people there. That's what I mean by what? Densely populated. And then the one with the sparsely populated area will be D, because on quite be brave, but then just put 4 per. But since this one is not on population, this was on rice production, there won't be such questions. They can also ask you ways of showing data that you have been given, and also advantages and disadvantages of dot maps. I can't teach you everything. You also have to go and learn on your own. So that'll be all for today. Thank you.